NASA, and it always has very little to do with like going back to the moon and putting another flag or something. It's like, oh, and NASA developed a technology to identify your heartbeat with a laser.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Or DARPA. Yeah. That's
like,
the question. Because we were told that all of these groups, especially DARPA, In-Q-Tel, NASA, that they were supposed to be doing stuff outside of, not to us, not to track and trace or explore, they were supposed to be exploring foreign countries or the moon or whatever. Well, a lot of this has been rerouted to have full track and trace. These are prisons. These are digital prisons. What you just watched from the World Economic Forum goes along with also their pitch of the metaverse. When they say 15 minutes walking distance and that everything's going to be replaced by public hubs, they mean public hubs that are completely and totally Internet of Things, track and trace, full surveillance. And we'll show in a second at the World Economic Forum, like Noah Harari says, they can already hack humans. Then the guy from Alibaba says he wants a track and trace of our carbon footprint. And then the other guy comes out from, I guess, I'm not sure which tech company. And he said that smartphones are going to be under the skin.
Yeah.
So,
was and then Ericsson? Nokia or Ericsson, one of them.
Nokia.
In the clip I said, you guys got 50, just 50 seconds. He's like, oh, well, obviously it'll be glasses and stuff then under the skin. Yeah. I think it was Nokia or Ericsson, one of those two. He was very proud of it.
Nokia. But listen, that 15 minutes, that's all they want you to be able to go from your house.
Yeah.
So this is all part of it's a eugenics. It's a control. It's a digital prison. And so the guy that's totally in on it, everyone has to look up if their mayor or their governor went to any of these events that deal with smart cities, they probably got paid off. And that's the big problem here. You got to follow the money because the Sislyak guy in Vegas, he is all in on this.
Can I interject a question real quick? You've driven. I know I've seen you all over the place. You guys have gone Florida to New York and driven Texas and all around. There's a lot of room in this country.
I know.
A lot of space. I mean, what's their plan to want to keep people in a city? Because
that's all they want is to keep people in cities.
Yeah, they don't want them out there.
Smart track and trace cities. I believe that they're destroying Build Back Better means fully destroying this country and building it back the way that these technocratic elites want it. Yeah. And that includes having our cities be virtual digital prisons for all of us that survive. This is what's going on. We're watching BlackRock and foreign countries and Bill Gates buy up all our land, full communities. People can't buy single family homes anymore because these central bankers bought them all up for a reason. And this whole thing is, so these new innovation zones, they would actually, and I knew that this was going to happen with remember when Amazon was proposing buying and AOC got it knocked down, it actually would have helped Long Island City.
Yeah.
But Bill Gates is doing something similar. They were trying it in Toronto, they have it in Seoul, where these tech companies, they buy the land. Let's say that they buy 20 square blocks in Manhattan. And then let's say Facebook builds their headquarters there. Then they make all their people that work for them live in that space. And then at that point, it's like its own place. That's what an innovation zone is. And this says local governments are inadequate alone to provide the flexibility and resources conducive to making the state a leader in attracting and retaining new forms and types of businesses and fostering economic development in emerging technologies and innovation industries. In response, they've created an alternative form of local government called innovation spaces. So they would use, and it's here, all in here, this cities thing. They would use these innovation spaces and technologies, including blockchain, autonomous technology, Internet of Things, robotics, artificial intelligence, wireless technology on the Internet of Things. So anything that you need would be available at your fingertips at your home within 15 miles of your home.
Wow.
And then on top of that,
it's called a leash. It's called a leash. It tethers you to the house.
That's right.
And then on top of that, it says these zones would have the ability to impose taxes, form their own school districts, have their own local courts, provide government services, have their own board of supervisors, and their own board of county commissioners.
Wow.
So I don't know who was sitting back waiting while this was all being planned, but this is already happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Who wants to live in Gatesville?
No kidding.
Well, play the Gates one. Play the Gates one. We'll see who wants to live in Gatesville. Go for that.
Looks like a whole lot of nothing. An undeveloped area about 45 minutes west of downtown Phoenix off I-10 near Tonopah. But this land is now in the hands of one of the richest men on earth.
I have a dream that every child in America will attend a great school.
One Bill Gates, and his plan is a big one. Belmont Partners, an Arizona-based real estate investment group, says a firm owned by Gates dropped a whopping $80 million to kickstart the development of a brand new community there called Belmont. The end goal? Turn this blank slate, roughly the size of Tempe, into its own smart city. Driverless cars, digital networks, data centers, you name it.
Bill Gates is known for innovation and those kind of things, and I think he picked the right location. He's coming to Arizona.
Ronald Schott of the Arizona Technology Council says this spot, while remote now, is a good one, in part due to the proposed I-11 freeway, which would run right through Belmont and connect to Las Vegas.
Finally, Arizona is getting recognized for being a place for innovation.
3,800 acres will go towards office, commercial, and retail space. 470 acres for public schools. Plus room for 80,000 housing units.
Their goal is to try to make this the most positive state to do business in and advocate for the technology industries.
Now, with the exception of those details I just talked about, the attorneys representing the investors are staying pretty tight-lipped. They're not commenting on when construction will start or if Microsoft will be opening an office there. Bianca Bono, 12 News.
Wow. When was that?
That was actually 3.5 years ago.
Wow.
So, and what you need to understand is, again, it's all the same players involved in Event 201, all the same players involved in everything that we're dealing with the World Economic Forum, with the Harari, with the track and trace, Fourth Industrial Revolution. Also, this is all being basically run through the G20 summit that we saw in Glasgow, under the guise of climate change, which is climate emergency, climate warming, global warming. It's all connected. They're using that ESG score, full track and trace. We have the central bank digital currency on the horizon with a universal ID, all monitored by the same people in Davos who are controlling the smart city grid. Because the other thing to know here is that all of these groups are hyper connected. They're all investing with one another. And this entire smart city thing, which is already happening in a lot of our cities and towns, also includes real-time surveillance devices such as drones, satellite, closed-circuit cameras. They expect by 2025, over 75 billion connected devices will be connected to the Internet of Things in cities all over the world.
Wow.
75 billion?
Yes.
Oh.
All over the world. So this means your laptop, your phone, your child's laptop, your child's phones, every device. And then those devices will be interconnected with each other. And then what happens? All of this data, because what gets really scary is all of this data goes to we don't know where, because there is no more government in their plan. The government of the United States works for the globalists in Davos under their plan that we've been over. And therefore, who is controlling it? But on top of that, the next level to here, which is already happening in China, you can ask Eric Schmidt, who created it, or Larry Fink, who's totally behind it, which is the social credit score thing. Then that takes you to the next place, which is predictive policing. Okay, this is part of their plan, too. It's predictive policing. So go back to when Obama and his friends started this whole move. The next move is predictive policing to monitor all websites, all emergency call centers, all insurance, all distribution, and all data.
All banks.
Everything.
Oh, yeah. All the finance, remote learning is included, digitized utilities, all electronic banking systems, and all green initiatives to make sure that the smart city lives up to